All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen for August 30th, 2021. We started at 6:30 with non-public under B to interview a couple of potential employees, and that brings us to roughly 6:54, and we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Easy to get wedged in there. I was going to say. Brings us to the infamous public comment. Frank? No? Okay. All right. Yep. Tom? Good.
I debated whether to come up here because I hate to put work on people's shoulders, but I'm concerned about what's happening with the sign ordinance as it relates to electronic signs in town. It's very clear that under prohibited signs, except as provided for Articles 34.10.3 and 34.10.4, all internally lit and electronic signs, including but not limited to, et cetera, but that's under prohibited signs. And we've got two companies in town, one that was put up quite a while ago, and I brought it up with our previous land use coordinator, and it was still there. It was attached as part of an existing sign. I don't know whether the person or the company thought that because they had an existing sign, they didn't need to permit the electronic piece or not, but it's there. And now I don't know if you've come up through South Ware lately, but there's a much larger one also at the recreational vehicle place that is attached to an existing sign. And it's the very thing that the planning board wanted to limit in town when we developed the sign ordinance years ago. And so that was put in specifically. There's only one legally electronic existing sign in town, and that's because it was grandfathered in at Country 3.
Country 3.
And the feeling was that we didn't want to see the town lined with that. And if you just walk your mind up Route 114, starting down at the corner of Gould Road, there's a number of businesses, the new one going in there soon. The potential for these, if it isn't halted before it gets spread, because they're so convenient. You know, you can change them with a keyboard, and they're just very convenient. I understand that, but we don't want Route 114 and Ware to look like Loudon Road or South Willow Street. In fact, it won't look like Loudon Road because Concord, some time ago, also prohibited any new electronic signs, so you won't see them on Loudon Road. But I don't think it's what we want on Route 114 or any other route in Ware. There's plenty of room for business signs. It's spelled out very clearly in the sign ordinance. And it allows a lot of leeway. And if they want a message board that's internally lighted, that's legal as long as it's like the one at the storage facility in South Ware. It's got manual letters, and it's internally lighted, so it could put out the message, but it's not blinking, flashing changes. So I just want to make the board aware of that, and why I apologize for putting it on your shoulders is because, unfortunately, I believe that this group is the enforcing authority for the sign ordinance. So that's my beef. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Any other public comment? Okay, we'll move on to Betty. To discuss an expenditure from the Mildred Hall Fund.
John, would you be willing to pass these out? Helene, do you want to do that? Okay, fine. And I'll keep this one that's bent. And that's one for each of the selectmen, and Naomi, I believe there's one more.
Okay.
Thank you. I do. I'll give one to Sherry. Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, you got one, all right. I'll hold on to it. No, I just have two. I'll hold on to it for
I gave
John.
mine to John.
Oh, okay. I'll give yours to John.
Thanks, Lynn. Oh, wait.
I got two here,
Yeah, you got two different things going on.
but I don't have that.
Neither do I.
I don't have that one either.
I read my papers, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Well set.
gotcha.
All set?
We are all set.
Okay, for the benefit of people who, and I guess I can project better without that on. This is to the selectmen of the town of Ware from the Mildred Hall Bequest Advisory Committee. At a meeting of the committee on August 25th, 2021, it was voted to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that the sum of $40,000 be expended from the Charles and Ethel Eastman Fund toward the cost of purchasing by the Conservation Commission of the James and Mary County lot, which is adjacent to the Ware Poor Farm Town Forest. Thank you for your consideration of this request. Elizabeth P. Straw, Chair. And I think you each have a copy of the application, which was very well put out by Andrew Felton. And if there are any questions, I'll try and answer them.
The Conservation Commission came to us for, to get the nod of approval to, inquire about it and move forward. So we have heard from the Conservation Commission about this. Does any other board members have any questions? Because I don't.
No, seems good.
Very straightforward.
You will have a public hearing, like you've done after.
Yes,
Yeah, the only,
Which will be the 20th of September.
right. We'll schedule that.
the only thing in looking at this letter from the Conservation Commission, there is a claim that part of that property is somebody else is laying claim to part of the, so they've got to get a surveyor, so I'd say.
Right.
Yeah, they brought that up to us when they
Yeah,
came
I
in.
know.
Correct, yeah, I remember them talking about that too. Yeah,
We haven't heard back from that yet, so.
okay.
But it doesn't really change whether it's, because it's either going to be 10 or 20 and the price is going to be the same.
Right,
Whether it be 10 acres or 20 acres.
Yeah,
right. But the price isn't gonna change.
right.
Right. Okay. So I think that as soon as that is completed, then, we can have the public hearing to begin with, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we have to have a public hearing.
But I think we probably ought to inquire to see where they're at with that,
Yep.
as far as that survey, just to make sure that all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed. So,
Yeah.
All
okay,
set?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moves us to the Eagle Scout project presentation for approval. Recognize Ben.
I am Ben Halley from Troop 24, and I'm presenting my Eagle project.
Okay.
This is a materials list and what
Thank
the
you.
project is going to be.
Thanks, Ben.
You may want one if you have an extra.
So my Eagle project is to make a bee hotel to put by the Ware Library to help the production of pollination with mason bees.
You might want him to look at you.
Might want to take his mask off.
Well, it's up to him.
And to fund this, I will be selling Krispy Kreme donuts and getting donations from various events. And this will help with the pollination of the flowers and anything in a 300-foot radius of the Ware Library.
Well, you laid it out very well. How far on the ground you be going with it?
It's going to be going 2 feet into the ground.
Okay.
It's a permanent structure as well.
Yep. Okay.
And Ben, can you tell us where you're going to locate this over there?
I'm not sure yet, but I was thinking where there's a patch of flowers in the back behind the library. That way it's not interrupted by people walking by and everything.
Right.
And you've been in discussions with the library director
Yes.
of this? Okay.
Yeah, most of them are here.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna harvest the honey?
They don't make any.
You're not gonna make any?
That's too bad. Now, is there any upkeep or cleaning that needs to go on year after year, or?
Yep, so every 2 years, the way that the bees make their, so how it works is you take like a log and you have little tiny holes and you can drill holes to the log and the bees will go in, lay their eggs and leave pollen for when they hatch and they'll eat them and then the process starts over. And every 2 years you go out and you re-drill those holes to clear out all the debris that's left over from the bees.
Okay. Is that something you're gonna do, or something
Yes,
you're
that's
gonna,
what I'm
okay.
gonna do.
Forever?
Yeah.
As long as he lives in town, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. The board members have any questions? Any of the trustees or the director of the library? You guys want to?
That's my question, so.
Okay, good. All right.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, do I need a building permit for this?
No.
No,
I don't believe
I
so.
don't believe so.
no.
I can give him a copy of it, because it's you're putting it on town-owned property,
Yeah.
so I could just ask.
Yeah, we'll just ask,
Don't
just to make
think
sure.
so?
Yeah.
I don't think we are.
I don't think so. I don't think it qualifies,
Right.
but we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you.
Okay.
Can I just have your name?
Mark, Hallie.
All right, does that,
The Scoutmaster.
we should probably do the, move that, right?
You should make a motion, because it's gonna be put on town property, and it's
that's
gonna stay forever.
Move to approve Ben Haley's Scout Project, the Bee Hotel behind the library as directed by the trustees.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
That's it.
All set?
And we'll let you know
Thank
if
you.
you need a permit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you one.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
exactly. We might know some people.
Yeah. We'll have your guy call.
Right,
Yeah.
You call my guy, have him call
Yeah.
your.
Again,
guy.
drop the second E, meanie, yeah.
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 First name Chip.
Clay,
No, who's the other one?
Brenda,
No.
the other guy?
Is that in the corner?
Don't know, that's-
You're not on the agenda at all, but come on
Clay
up,
who it
because we're
was,
at department
I'm
head
not
committee
sure who
items.
that
It's
was.
really awkward. I haven't done one of these before, certificate of municipality, I can't pronounce it. Have you ever seen those before?
No? Is that something you've seen
Okay,
before, Naomi?
It's something I need to have Maureen needs to sign off on it, and I don't, I'll read it, all right? I
Okay.
apologize, I don't have any copies. No.
Okay.
You know me, I'll read it and see if there's anything I need to proceed. This pertains to a grant that I was approved for by the New Hampshire State Library. It's for $1,988, and I already spent the money for the grant. I'm just right now working on the reimbursement stage, and in order to reimburse, I need to have this signed certificate. The grant that was approved was, it was in relation to funds that could assist with the COVID incidents that we've had, in the last year or so. And I've used the grant money to purchase STEM-related kits and games. And so those are all in. They're all, for the most part, processed. And starting on Wednesday, they will be available for our community to browse and play with and to check out, take home. So and that'll be going on in perpetuity. So, this certificate, it said that it says resolved, and again, I hope this doesn't get too boring. You can cut me off if I need to shut up, all right, please. This municipality shall enter into a contract with the state of New Hampshire, acting by and through the Department of Cultural Resources, New Hampshire State Library, providing for the performance of this municipality of certain services as documented with the foregoing application. All right, and it says that the official, Clay Creasy, the library director, on behalf of this municipality, is authorized and directed to enter into the said agreement with New Hampshire Department of Cultural Resources and New Hampshire State Library that he is to take any such action that may be deemed necessary, desirable, or appropriate in order to execute, seal, acknowledge, and deliver any and all documents, agreements, and other instruments on behalf of this municipality in order to accomplish the same. Resolved, that the signature of the above authorized official of the municipality, which is would be Marine's signature, when affixed to any instrument or document described in, contemplated by this resolution, shall be conclusive evidence of the authority of the said parties to bind this municipal. Can someone pronounce it?
Municipality.
There you go. Thank you. It's like I have trouble with the word cinnamon. Okay. Thereby, the foregoing the resolution of this revoked, annulled, or amended by any manner whatsoever, and remains in full force and effects of the date hereof. Okay, and then it says the following persons have been duly elected, appointed to, and now occupy the offices as indicated. The Library Board of Trustees Chair is Mark Carey. The municipality clerk is Maureen Bilodeau, and the municipality treasurer is Tina Connor. The proceeding is true, accurate, and complete, excerpt facsimile of the resolution adopted during an official meeting of the municipality and is, so that's why I'm here, for the official meeting, and it has not been amended or revoked. Said meeting was held in accordance with the laws and bylaws of the state of New Hampshire upon the following date. And so by your approval, I'm thinking that Maureen will just sign it tomorrow, since it will be in the minutes that this was presented to you. So, long story short, any questions? Anything else needed?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
Just look at the top, it says duly elected official for the municipality, documented above, which is in the state of New Hampshire. I maintain, have custody of, and am familiar with the minute books of the municipality. I am duly authorized to issue certificates with respect to the contents of such books.
And I think that would be, that the I would be Maureen. So.
It does say clerk at the bottom.
Yeah,
Right,
Maureen's
yeah.
the keeper of the minutes.
So,
Right.
but I was thinking, since it says that there needs to be a meeting, that I would have to present this officially to the town and get an approval. That way it'll be in the minutes, and that way she can sign it tomorrow.
I don't,
So,
yeah, I think you've done your task,
okay.
I believe, according to what I've heard and read,
Yeah, so,
so
So you need to make the motion to
accept it.
accept the certificate of municipality?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
all right, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on. Recognize Director Benji Knapp with a DPW update.
Yep, I'll give you an update first, I guess, and then got a quick new hire. So I don't know, last time I seen you guys been a minute, but we are almost wrapped up the road work. If weather allows, Wednesday we will top coat Boganetta, and that will be the end of paving. As soon as Mr. Neville gets his grader freed up, we will be doing shoulders, because he has a shoulder machine but specifically bolts to his grader. That's the way it is. So anyway, the shoulder machine's not busy, but the machine that carries it is. So we'll start backing up the pavement that we have put down. This year we top coated Bogue, Etta, and a piece of Thorndike from Quaker to Reservoir Drive. We completely tore up and reconstructed Pine Hill, Hatfield Road, and Walker Hill Road, and put 2 inches of base pavement down, all new drainage. We did approximately 4,600 feet of river road, so what I like to refer to as the back side of the hill from basically Bonnet Hill Road to Clough Park Road, not quite, but that side of the hill. We did there is we reclaimed that and did an asphalt injection. So they ground it with the reclaimer and they backed up and hooked tanker trucks to the front of the reclaimer and pumped liquid asphalt into the reclaimer and mixed it into the subsoils, and it made a 5 to 6 inch base. I call it like a puck, because when you take a core sample, it looks like a big thick hockey puck. Because that is good gravel. The Army Corps of Engineers built that road years ago, but it has moved with all the traffic on it over the years. So that'll hold that base. And then we put 2.5 inches of base pavement down on it. So next year that'll be on the list to be top coated. So that was my road reconstruction projects. We've been keeping up with grading, calcium chloride, been chasing small washouts and culvert cleaning steady. We painted a bunch of lines, refreshed all the old ones and some new ones in town with our paint machine. We chip coated the traditional chip coat that I've been doing a little bit every year. We did that on Old Francistown Road this year. We did what we called a double chip, which just did it twice in some of the low areas. That road has quite a few years on it, and the pavement was just starting to, you're gonna be patching potholes next year. So for a much more inexpensive fix, we gave it new facelift. Mountain Road and Mountain School Road, we did a rubberized chip coat. That's something new. It's the Cadillac of them all, I suppose, if you want to compare it to that. You get the traditional, you get the one with the fiberglass in it like it did in Hodgdon, and this one's a complete different process. It looks the same, but it's completely different. The state does a ton of it. The reason I chose that for that road was because it handles higher volumes of traffic much better. Instead of just emulsion being put down, it's actually asphalt concrete that they put down. They put down to 400 degrees, and they also mix 20% rubber with it, so it flexes. So approximately 1,500 tires every mile is put into that process. So, you're recycling some tires in it too, which is kind of neat, It's over 2 miles long, so over 3,000 tires got used in that process. So what that does is it allows it to flex, when you get the frost. Action.
Now, what's and I, just for reference, what is the cost difference between traditional fiberglass and the asphalt per mile?
Between the traditional and the rubber is at least double.
Okay.
That's why I haven't jumped out and done that yet. It's that much better, but you're spending that much more money. It's still less than paving, but probably a third less. But what's nice about that product, right, is paving doesn't always fix everything. You can put pavement over cracks, and those same cracks will come back next year. For one with chip coat, we have the cracks crack sealed, but this rubber flexes and kind of covers over them. So Mountain Road, we put a ton of work into, as you guys remember. There wasn't any cracking on there. I was pretty proud of how that road held up, all the gravel we put on and stuff. But Mountain School, we didn't. We just overlaid it, because when we did culverts and stuff, we found it had good material up on top of the mountain. So we chose just to overlay it, and so I wanted to get that, covered up, because the weather is what hurts the surface of the road. You got the sun and the rain and the snow, and if you can protect that top layer, it's just like restaining your deck every few years. It's the same thing, and it probably gave, they say that's an 8 to 10 year fix. You never go back to that for a road that, I've never really put on paper the traffic count. That's got to be in my top 3 busiest roads in town. There's a ton of subdivisions up
Yeah,
there.
there is.
And
Yeah.
at dead ends, there's no other way out. So
Right.
it gets it twice a day, in and out. So So that was my big, money projects this year, I guess. The trash trailer is being built. I haven't heard an update for a few weeks, but it's being built. We jumped a bunch of slots because couldn't get parts for lots of other trailers they were building. We were supposed to be December build slot, and they jumped us up and started building us in July. So,
Did they hold their price?
yeah,
Nice.
as far as I know, I haven't heard different.
Okay.
We washed bridges while I was in Montana. They did lots of maintenance like that. They washed bridges,
I saw them doing that, yeah.
lots of other stuff, so that's done. Like I say, with the grader's been out steady. That was one nice thing. The road jobs are close to town. I think we spread gravel 5-6 days. Other than that, the grader's been doing its normal thing, so. You always get that. You should be grading instead of laying gravel. It's never more than 3-4 weeks, and I don't think we spent a week and a half this year, so. It's out every day usually, unless I don't have any calls. Once we get the calcium down, I try not
To touch
to
them.
stir it up, but the rain just hasn't helped. So,
How's
that's
the-
all big things. I'm sure I'm missing tons, but,
How's the mower?
waiting for a bear, and it has been on order forever.
Okay.
You know, it's funny you mention that. I'm glad you did, because when I drive down the road, that's my number one pet peeve. I can't stand brush. I grew up in Montana. They didn't allow a tree in the right of way, so I wish that was way out here. But anyway, so I can't wait to get back out. But with that said, I've had a number of phone calls asking about it, and the roads have never been in history of Ware mowed as good as they are now, because we never had a tractor. We rented one, you know. So it's kind of funny now we've got around them all. Everybody's noticing, so that's a good thing. But they've never all been mowed, and they've all been mowed, and some of them were on the second and third time around. Some reason some roads just seem to grow more and faster than
I think that'd be
others.
Thorndike.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see the picture I sent?
I did, Joe showed me.
Yeah.
And that's one, because I take that route home from work at night, so I notice it. Believe me, I want to get to it. It's just parts are hard to get everywhere.
No, I realize that, and I'm glad you guys, we mentioned that. There is a shortage of parts everywhere, and,
It's just funny that people have noticed, because you'd mow 3, 4, 5, 6 roads a year for $13,000 and spent 20 on a tractor. We've done them all. Every one has been done. Because Lee went from doing, some roads were taking 3, 4, 5 days per road, obviously depending on the severity and the length, to just before it broke, he's doing 3, 4 roads a day. So,
yeah.
we were
And
gnawing
that's
on
just
big
it.
trees, going
It's
down
small,
little trees.
it's small stuff now. It's
And I
not
think that's what took the barons out of the mowers. We're gnawing on stuff that was
probably a little bigger than it
big,
should have
you
been.
know,
Yeah.
but, anyway,
Okay.
I hope it's coming soon, so. Other than that, I'm here to make a new hire. I'm here to, hire Brian Towns as full-time transfer station attendant, starting at $17 an hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
After probation, go to $17.50. He's willing to start tomorrow, so. With that said.
All right, the board met with Brian before the meeting. That was one of our non-public under B. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we hire Brian Towns to work at the transfer station, starting at $17 an hour, and after probation, be moved up to $17.50.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stand on up, Brad?
Oh my God, he's gonna get in the paper.
Yeah, you got
P-O-W-N-S? N-E-S. N-E-S. Yeah.
That's good enough.
He's on a roll.
Like I say, get the local paper too.
Gonna make you ugly.
Yes.
Gonna Photoshop Benji out and make me ugly.
Because I was gonna bring it up at the end, but
No, I'll bring it up now.
don't,
You're good.
all right.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you all.
Benji.
Thank you.
Thank
Don't,
you.
Bye, Brian.
Good luck.
I've got something I was gonna bring up under correspondence, but since Benji's here,
Wonderful.
there's a little small parking area on East Road, just past the gazebo.
Oh, yeah.
It's paved.
It's being-
We've talked about this, and Selectmen's talked about striping that and putting 3 or 4 handicap parking spots there. And we ran into a problem when we had our patriotic celebration this last month. There was no handicap parking. So I would like to have us authorize Benji to go ahead and stripe that with I don't know what the rules are for
Distance,
handicap
width.
spots, but if you can get 3 in there, or 4, it would be
I think
nice.
to put up new signs, you're gonna have to have a public hearing, but I don't have no problem with doing it. The only thing, because I know exactly what you're saying, for the carnival, you need them.
Yep.
Would it be, just throwing it out here, because I don't care, I don't park there, would it be something to discuss about doing temporary handicap? The reason being is the place across the street parks there when they plow the snow, and I don't want,
Cars there all the time.
that's a
Well-
big fine to get caught in a handicap spot, so I'd hate somebody, because we discussed that, and since I've been here, there's never been permanent signs, 'cause we just paved that, and we paved it, and
Right.
we kinda just used to shove snow in there. I don't know if we used to do temporary handicap or what it was, so that's up to you guys, you let me know what you wanna do, I'll just throw that out, because you certainly need them for the carnival, I don't disagree with you at all on that.
Right, I would be rather see temporary order of handicap spots than.
Because I put up
year-round.
three signs, handmade signs, and
Yeah.
I was told that they weren't legal.
Well, we can, I'm sure that the,
We can
Maybe
have
Chief
some
might
made
be
up.
able to chime in more on.
we can probably,
It's gotta be covered by our ordinance.
Plus, you gotta follow whatever the statute is for.
right, but I'm sure,
You
but
guys
we can
tell-
do temporary though, correct?
When you guys and Chief, you tell me what you want, and I'll
Right.
put them up.
All right, well, I think my idea, my thought would be having striped spots, parking spots,
Still straight spots.
striped spots, but make a few of them
We can
temporary
come up
order.
and put some posts in a
under
bucket
us.
on that day or something.
And he'll tell us the logistics on how to do that. See?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I just
Yep.
think it needs to be
No, it
done.
was, I agree. There's no place for handicap during the fair, and it's kinda,
Yeah,
Does that sound good to the rest of the board?
yeah, sounds good
because
to
with
me.
full-time ones, if you guys ever go back to ice skating or something like that, then you're gonna have.
Yeah, then
problems.
you're gonna have problems if they're full-time
That's what I
paid.
see.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
Well, as he was saying, I was
I had
thinking
hard
the
enough.
same thing you were, so,
Yeah, so,
but, okay.
alrighty.
I have nothing else.
Ready, guys?
You?
Yeah,
No? All set?
yeah.
All right.
Night, Benj.
Speaking of parking, though, I noticed every day there's usually a couple of vans up by the town hall, and there's a white car over there in that area.
Yeah, they belong to the apartment building.
Yeah,
All right, recognize Chief Mora with a discussion about the CBA.
Yep, so this is just follow-up to what we discussed on August 18th with a couple questions which we ran by Attorney Broth regarding the detail rates. The town's under no obligation to comply with it's not breaking the law, doing how the town is administering the fees right now. However, it's, of course, the right thing to do. I checked with the finance director. It can be done either in the paycheck. The officers would have to pay FICA taxes on that. They're fine with that, or it could be by 1099. They're gonna do it by paycheck if it's approved. And I think that was all I was checking on. Oh, all it takes is a vote from you all to raise the rate, so there's no deficiency. And so what I was proposing, and Ms. Rouse was proposing the detail rate be put to, I believe it was $63.50. So there's no deficit to the town by any officers who work in details.
Correct. Well, it was a two-part.
Yep.
It was two parts, because it was raising the rate to cover the car and everything like that, which we already did, and then there was the section of taking that $10-ish and turning it back to the officer.
Right. And she can do that too. It'd be in the same check. They would just have to pay FICA taxes on it.
Yeah, and we checked on that because, again, to me, as one member, it was a change of this collective bargaining in that detail.
Well, they're not raising their,
No, we're not raising hourly rates.
you're not gonna
No,
get.
but
you're not-
it's still a different rate for certain officers.
Well,
So, it's a different, if
well,
it,
they're still gonna get what, say for
Correct,
numbers,
but-
$45 an hour.
you're right, but the vested employees
get $10
get $10
extra.
less because it goes into retirement.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a change of
They're-
that.
I mean, he's still
That's why I
gonna,
have you
the
right by
officer's still
Brock.
gonna get the $45 an hour, except for
Correct.
that extra additional that goes, the
Correct.
retirement's gonna go, he's just gonna get it.
Right, so. And we're not saying anything you don't agree with, right? Don't disagree with?
I don't know why they don't wanna put it in the
I
social
guess-
security.
Well, so scary.
Have them
part of
entered
me-
in the social.
Get your quarters in.
Get your quarters in for later on, you know.
Part of me thinks that we can just up the rate to the vendor
Yeah, well, we can do that.
regardless,
Yeah.
because of the change in the retirement.
Correct. Okay.
I mean, I think Beth threw out the same chart
Yep, I agree, yeah.
Beth got the same chart, and Attorney Broth weighed in as well. And Attorney Broth said changing the rate only requires a board vote. It makes sense for the detail rate charged to the contractor to cover the town's cost.
Okay.
But as Chris pointed out, that the highlighted portion, it's, they agree that the officers who are in the new retirement should be getting the portion being charged to the vendors, which is dedicated toward retirement for officers under the old. As Attorney Broth points out, it's not legally required for you to do this, but it's the right thing to do. That was Chris's comment.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with it. I just want to make sure.
But is it something you do now or you negotiate?
That was my question.
Have you got satisfied to that?
Yes. I've been satisfied as far as my answer that I need to hear.
Yeah, because it's not, you're not going against the collective bargaining agreement because they're still gonna get the same rate. So let's say it's whatever their rate is per hour, for detail rate is what, 46?
4638.
38. They're getting that, we're not upping that, and that's the part that's in the collective bargaining. If they wanted to get more, then they have to come back to the bargaining table. We can't.
Can you just explain to me, I'd like to know your statement of negative, it says if we were not to provide the funding, it would negatively impact the recruitment and retention.
Sure, so as I pointed out last time, we are currently the third lowest in the police chiefs who responded of what detail rates were being charged to vendors.
Yeah.
I think I had 14 responses, I don't have that in front of me, but it was somewhere in that area.
Okay.
And we were the third lowest amongst the 14 responses. Other departments already do this differentiation of pay, which is what Officer Charest pointed out. The employees who are under the old retirement system in Manchester get $45 an hour, and the new retirement system guys get $55 an hour, so they can invest that retirement. That's according to him. It's two different sets of paychecks.
But it doesn't, how would it how does it negatively impact recruitment when we're not doing details?
We're not gonna raise the rate, even for the non-vested, we're not raising the rate.
Right, but if we're,
So you're still gonna get, no matter what our rate is for details, it's still gonna be the 4638 with a vested or unvested.
it goes back to the whole, it's the right thing to do. It's just building trust with the department and the reputation that we have working with the Board of Selectmen. If they're earning money, which is dedicated to one set of employees for retirement, and the other set's not getting it, and the town's pocketing that, it doesn't look good.
Well, out of the 48, or 46 bucks for even numbers, you're gonna take 15 of that goes to the vested person that's going into his retirement fund.
Sure.
Okay? So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the same thing at 46, you're gonna take the $15 and just put it into the guy's check. You're not gonna deduct it from his check, he's just gonna get it.
Correct, and he can put
So
that
he's
into
still-
however he wants.
So in other
retirement.
words, you're not gonna deduct that $15 additional from his check. He's not getting any more than $46 an hour, 46.38.
Right, for the hourly rate, but then he's getting retirement, what's paid, what the vendor pays toward retirement.
Well, that still goes,
The
he's not
vested
gonna get
gets
that
10
money, that's
bucks
part of that
extra.
46.38, that's $46.
That's where I guess I'm lost.
That's not going outside of that, so,
His retirement, though, if they're vested, they get $10, right, extra.
no.
No, so the vendor gets charged right now $60.99. That $60.99 covers for the guys in the old retirement system, Medicare tax, an administrative fee, a retirement benefit, which is New Hampshire retirement system, and their hourly rate, which is $46.38. The new guys who work in the new retirement system get all those same things, except they get no retirement benefit, even though the vendor is paying an hourly rate
Rate.
for a retirement benefit.
Okay, so right now, we're currently holding it, the town.
Right, so the money, talking to Beth, all it does, the money goes into one account, the town's not doing it intentionally, she just doesn't know how to distribute those funds, because it hadn't been approved, that's all it is. Because it was a new issue that we just didn't realize was happening
Okay.
with the changes to the retirement system.
Is that clear as mud for you guys?
Yeah, so how many people are in the new retirement fund?
So it's easier if I just do the old ones. So the old ones are Lieutenant Hebert, Sergeant Montplaisir, Officer Perslow, and Corporal Muse. Everybody else is new.
So you've got 6 new ones, 7 new ones?
Yeah, it'd be 8 new ones.
8 new ones with your new, with a new hire?
Correct.
So 8 of them aren't getting that,
Correct, that retirement benefit.
but 4 are.
Right.
So they should all get it or not get it at all.
Well, you can't, you have to give them the retirement, that's my
Yeah,
law.
that's what I'm saying.
So-
So
Everyone's,
the non-vested officers are getting that separate check, which would be a 1099?
No, they could either, so according to Beth, they could either get it in a 1099, which would be a separate check, or she can just put it into their regular check. However, they would have to pay FICA on that amount, which is like 6.7% or something. And they're fine with paying the 6.7%. It just makes
FICA and Medicaid.
it easier for them.
So right now, that $15 is just sitting there?
Sitting in the town's, the same fund that's
So not
for
at a
our
deficit.
vehicles. Not intentionally, it's just
it's where it's going.
Ms. Rouse didn't know how to distribute it or what the intent of the town was to do with that.
So it's gonna, because right now, ultimately, a vested employee is making 60-something bucks an hour with retirement
Right.
included. Because you take that 1571 plus the 4638 and put it together, a vested employee is making that as an hour.
Right.
An hour. A
But-
non-vested employee is only making 4638.
Well, it's just pay with benefits, because even if you look, when we
Well, they're
hire
not-
people, we always talk about just base pay,
Correct.
and then the benefits are
They're not
always on top of
getting-
that.
Right.
They're not getting any more. What they're doing is the vendor's paying the difference. They're not getting more in their check.
The vendor doesn't see it,
The vendor
The
doesn't.
vendor gets
say-
billed and pays for it, and it gets cut out of the.
but the
before
vendor doesn't see a difference between, they don't care
They don't.
if it's a vested or non-vested, the hourly
They're
rate that
paying
we
the-
charge the vendor is
they're paying the
exactly the
same.
same.
Yeah.
Right. But the officer is losing,
The new.
non-vested
the new
officer is
retirement.
losing
Getting any money going on the retirement.
8 of them are not getting any.
1571
Yeah.
an hour that's not being, whether it be retirement or to the officer, they're losing that $15.71. That's what is really happening here.
And that's going into the car
It's
replacement.
going in the car replacement fund, and that's just the way it was set up.
Yeah.
So this is going to rectify that and make it so that a vested and a non-vested employee.
All I'm looking at is that you're
compensate the
turning
same.
around, you're gonna be compensating the non-vested officer, you're gonna give him more money than you are the non-vested, the vested
The
officer.
non-vested, the vested
they'll
will
get
see
the
it on the
same.
on the other side.
He'll see it in his retirement.
Correct.
20 years down the road.
Correct.
But the non-vested one is gonna
We'll never see it.
Well, they can
Well,
do what they
no,
want. They
unless-
can invest it.
Unless we make this change, the non-vested will never see it.
Or unless they opt to go into social security.
They could also do a 457 plan. It's just their
They
funding
can
that
do
they
something
can
with it.
Right.
do
So
what's
either
on
way,
it.
it goes,
But right now, they don't see it because we take
all
it.
I'm
put it
saying
in
is
the
it goes
account.
into
Keeping
more
it.
out, gives them more money per hour than the vested.
Oh, and-
Because now you're gonna give them.
No.
more
No,
money.
no,
Why?
no.
You're gonna give them that money in a check.
At the moment, yes, but at the end of at the finish line, the same.
Should be the same.
And everybody guaranteed would rather be in the old system, make no doubt about it.
Right. At the finish line, they both make the same.
Just one's getting invested and one isn't.
Correct. One's getting it now, one's getting it later.
And this
Okay,
came
well-
up about, this
Well,
came
I'm
up
worried
why?
about changing the hourly rate.
Can
for
you,
the-
can you tell me how we came across this,
CBA.
Matt?
So the
That's where
first,
I was
I
at.
guess the change
Brought up.
to the retirement
Still think
system,
it is.
which went into effect July 1st, and then Beth brought it up. It wasn't anybody looking at their check or anything.
Just seems.
How she came across
It just
it, I don't
seems
know.
overly complicated to me.
They're notifying that it's, yeah, they notified you that there's an increase in the contribution rate.
Right.
I believe it was Beth who got it up. I don't think it was an officer.
Well, at any rate, I think it's a two-part.
I just want to make
Discussion.
sure we're not violating the collective bargaining by saying, okay, you're guaranteed to get $46.38 an hour, and now it's gonna increase one group of personnel to more than 46.
And that's what I wanted, when we left here last time, that was my
I
question.
still think that that's,
Was it was a change in hourly pay.
I still think
That's what I
it's,
thought.
You know, could be an issue, that's the only thing.
And that's why we got a hold of Attorney Broth, was because I thought it was, my person was, I thought it was a change in hourly rate. But the actual hourly paid rate to the officer is not changing if we change the vendor rate.
So I think it's a two-part.
So basically,
Question.
you're talking about raising the rate to about $63.
$63.51.
Yeah.
50 cents. 63.50.
63.51, right?
No, just 50.
50.
63.50.
Well, I'm looking
Rounded down one?
at Beth's, it says 51.
Oh, we'll go with her numbers. She might have changed them.
Okay.
No,
But that-
It's a rounding thing.
And that doesn't, but that still doesn't change the hourly rate for the officer.
They're all getting the same.
Right, it only backfills where we're losing on the retirement and the FICA and et cetera.
No, we're not losing, the officer is, yeah.
Oh, no, the town's losing it.
Why?
We're losing the 1571 because right now it's going into the car replacement fund.
No,
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as that fund, really.
Well,
It's
that's
some
what-
type of police detail fund or something.
It's the special revenue fund.
Special revenue fund.
75 cents for the processing fee there, and it's only 73 here.
right, but because the retirement went up, their hourly rate hasn't changed, retirement went up, so the town is losing $2.50 an hour or whatever.
Just for vested employees.
Just for vested employees.
Yep.
So, like I said, I believe it's a two-part change we would be making here. One is the reaction to the increase in the retirement, which would be
Which
the.
is just
which-
charged to the vendor anyway.
Correct, which is just the vendor change.
Yeah, that's all
And then the second change is what we're discussing, what we've been discussing for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move that we change the vendor rate to a rate of $63.51 an hour to cover the, change in the retirement system.
The new retirement system.
Correct. Which would reflect rates of, hourly rate for the officer of $46.38, New Hampshire retirement, system, well, that's gonna change too, so. But, yeah, it's $15.71 for vested officers, the payroll tax, processing fee, and then to the total vendor fee would be $63.51. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of the change of the vendor fee? Signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, now we have the second part of it, which is what they do with that 13, or 1571 to the non-vested employee. And that's why I asked to get a hold of Attorney Broth at our last
Yeah,
meeting,
It was all brought up, we all brought that up.
which, because I thought it was a change in the,
Well,
Hey.
it is gonna be. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking the fact that we're gonna start paying one group $15 more an hour than the other group.
The other group's getting it.
Vested group, no, they're not getting it. You're gonna give them they're gonna go from $46 for, say, for even money and add another 15 to that. That's what they're gonna get, that's what they're gonna see in their check per hour.
at the end of the day, yes.
At the end of the day.
Right.
And I don't wanna set us up to the point where all of a sudden, the vested group says that's not fair because we're not seeing that extra amount per hour in our check.
So that
And
goes
we're
into the
violating,
retirement?
we're violating the collective bargaining. There goes into the retirement, they're getting it on the other end up front.
Up front.
The collective bargaining says it is $46.38 an hour. That's what I'm looking at, that we don't end up in some jackpot with that.
And that's why I wanted to get a hold of Attorney Broth 2 weeks ago,
Which
now-
you did.
which I thought we did.
And I still think it's,
And I thought that the answer we just got back was, this is okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think what Chris said, it's the right thing to do.
And I'm not disagreeing with that, and I didn't disagree with it 2 weeks ago.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm not saying, and the other part is I'm not looking to get set up down the road that all of a sudden the other half wants a bigger cut per hour.
No, and that was,
And that means we violate the collective bargaining agreement.
so I don't know if we got, can I see Mark's response?
Chris forwarded to you guys.
Yeah,
in August.
I don't know where I would
Oh,
find
sorry.
it, though. You got it in front of you.
Yeah.
I'd have to search my emails. Yeah, that's not what I care about. There we go.
So only confusion came July 1st, really, or the change. to the
Well, she
retirement.
started talking about it before that because we saw it
There was a
coming.
change coming in
Right,
July 1st.
that we knew was coming July 1st. I guess when the state notifies that the town's retirement portion was increasing, she started looking at it.
They
thinking
notify
that we
them,
were covered, and we weren't. We were short.
Right.
they notify them quite a while in advance, because the fiscal year starts July 1, so the state's
And
fiscal
then there
year.
must have been a rule change as well with the who gets it, who doesn't, who gets it now, who gets it later.
That's 2012,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
I'd say I never thought it was this convoluted, but.
Now, according to what Beth gave us, at the end of the year, the non-vested officers are gonna receive a 1099.
And
It can be, that's an
Yeah.
option.
she said it could be either way. They would just have to pay FICA if they
FICA.
did get it through the check.
They can invest that if they want.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
can they turn it into their regular retirement fund?
Yeah, they could
They can
sign
just
up for a
take the-
457
sign the
plan
check
where
over
they,
and
No,
send
they
it.
can't send it to the
They can go
state.
and spend it on
They cannot go to the state
whatever they
retirement.
want.
They have to do their own private
That's
right,
retirement.
457, just
They'd have
their
to
own
do
contribution.
Some Roth IRA or something.
All right, I'm reading Mark's reply, and I'm not, the only thing that he is saying is, to your point, is that it says, so if a detail rate creates a surplus because the detail is worked by someone under the new retirement system, the town has no obligation to share the portion of the detail rate that would be attributed to retirement for the old retirement system eligible employees. So that is answers half your question.
The old employees, the
Correct.
vested ones, are guaranteed to get that.
Right, but they
It
can't,
goes into their retirement.
but they can't ask for more, according to that,
No,
Wow.
no.
unless it's renegotiated.
Yeah, unless they take us over the hurdles.
So I don't know if that was wrong one. So I don't know if we got our answer or not in this, to be honest with you. I don't see as I got my answer.
No, I read it, and I didn't think we got the,
Why didn't you say something?
well, I mean, you were going on, so it's like, I don't think we got the answer. That's why I kept saying it. I don't think,
So what are you looking for the answer? Because even Chris said, he says it's not legal, but he thinks it's the right thing to do. So I think
it's
we're all
not.
on the same page.
I don't know if you want to say that.
It's not
No,
legal.
I'm just saying, he put it in the email.
Well, you're under no legal obligation.
Right.
You know, legal obligation.
You don't have to do it.
I
and
don't
that's what
disagree
he's
that
saying.
it's the right thing to do. I agree it's the right thing to do.
Oh, no, I
I'll
see.
make sure it's a legal thing to do.
Right. Well, I mean, it can just be an MOU, too.
No,
Yeah.
even the MOU, it could be.
MOU is binding. We found that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's as good.
Well, I mean, I could get an
That's as good
MOU
as the
from
C
the
word.
vested guy saying it's not an issue.
That's as good as the C word,
Yeah,
contract.
yeah. And an MOU from the vested guys doesn't always,
So I would want to answer Jack's question, which was my question 2 weeks ago. Is the change
are we violating the collective bargain?
correct? By giving them a 1090, the non-vested employees a 1099.
Or just a flat check with, yeah, putting it in their pay, and even if they take the
Right.
FICA and Medicare out of it,
So we violated CBA by giving a non-vested employee a check?
yeah,
For the retirement difference.
add it to their hourly rate, so.
Yeah. Again, I agree it's the right thing to do. I want to make sure it's a legal thing to do.
Sure.
So the question is, are you violating CBA by giving non-vested employee a check for the New Hampshire retirement difference?
Correct.
I can send it off.
And if you get an answer, then, I mean,
We can,
the board might be able to pull together before 2 weeks
yeah,
to make it right,
sure.
so.
Sounds good. Appreciate the effort.
Thank you, chief. Sorry for the confusion.
That's all right.
Sounds like you just went around that circle a couple times.
It's been
The whole thing's been clear as mud, so.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Congrats.
chief.
Thank you.
All right, brings us to a volunteer to serve request for the Conservation Commission.
Find it.
Mr. Kirk.
and he is signed up for the Conservation Commission
As an alternate.
as an alternate. How come?
For the past, 3 or 4 decades, I've been a member of the Society for the Preservation of New Hampshire Forests. For 4 decades, I've been a member of the Piscataquag Watershed Association, Piscataquag Land Conservancy. It's changed its name. And I was on the board of that and president of that for a number of years in the 80s. So I have an interest in conservation, and I have some experience and knowledge about conservation. And so I thought I'd get involved at the town level. And I volunteered, I attended a meeting, presented the paperwork to the board, and here we are.
Yeah. The, is that the only form? Because I don't see Andy or Steve signed it.
Right, he attended the meeting. Andy didn't sign it, but they, if you look at the minutes, I don't know if Sherry was here, they recommended him.
Okay.
And I think Neil handed it to me at one of the board meetings here, not at the conservation meeting.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a copy of
that would
it.
make sense. So,
Because he has to attend, anybody that volunteers has to attend a meeting.
4 decades. That's more than I've been alive.
Some of us have been around a few years.
That's for sure. All right, any other board members have any questions for Mr. Kirk? No? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we put Neil Kirk on the Conservation Commission as an alternate.
Moved, is there a second? I'll second it. Moved and seconded,
Discussion.
discussion?
I'm wondering if it's gonna be a conflict where he sits onto the Finance Committee because of, they also deal with financial things at the Conservation Commission.
Okay,
I may view that as a conflict.
okay.
You know, 2 boards, one that oversees finances and the other one that does financial gain.
Is that something we can have looked into? I don't know, he brings up a valid point, I don't know.
May I offer some comment? First of all, I was on the planning board for many years and on the finance committee. And the planning board has a budget, and the finance committee, in effect, goes on that budget. But however, I think Jack has a point to the extent that there's a larger amount of money
Well,
on the conservation.
They have an expenditure, whereas the planning board doesn't have their own budget. They go through the town budget, just spending for
And legal.
bills and so forth, not buying and purchasing property and so forth.
Which
Right,
Conservation Commission can
and
do.
the solution to that, of course, is that I could recuse myself in either one or the other of the 2 places, so there would be no conflict. That is to say, if the Finance Committee were dealing with any money connected with the Conservation Commission, I would recuse myself from voting on that.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be a conflict.
Okay. You still want to get looked into, or is that satisfy your answer?
I think the safe thing to do would be to look into it or get a legal opinion.
Well, the only reason I think, and Neil, it's, they don't have to come here to spend the conservation money, which they get 75% of the current use money. I think there's a little bit of
There's,
I think that's what I hear the concern being.
I believe that is a concern.
Planning board has a town budget that the selectmen sign off on the manifest. Conservation has 75% of any current use money that they don't have to come here for.
and the Finance Committee does not deal with that.
I'm just saying, is that what the
I believe that's what,
understanding
I believe
is?
that's what Jack's
Yeah.
question is.
But I'm just saying, I think that's a little bit different than the planning board. I totally agree with you.
It is different, but the point is, the Finance Committee does not deal with that because it's another source of money. It's not a town budget item. The voters don't vote on that, for example. It's not part of anybody's
Yeah,
budget.
I think that
So-
was what the concern was. Did I not pick that
No,
up
I think you
correctly?
did. No, you did
If
correctly.
you're gonna ask me to ask the attorney, tell me what you want correctly.
No, I think that's exactly what we should do.
So I don't think there's a conflict there. The conflict would be if the planning board, if the Conservation Commission was getting other money from the town, either for a budget, or, for example, they went to the town to ask for a specific sum of money for a particular project in addition to what they get as part of the current use money. For example, the Conservation Commission just went to the Mildred Hall Committee, as I think you all know, to get some money for a particular purchase. Okay. Again, that doesn't involve the Finance Committee because it's not a taxpayer dollar. And so there would be no conflict of interest there. But to the extent that the Finance Committee, the Conservation Commission gets any money that taxpayers have to pay for, then I would recuse myself from that to the extent that there's a conflict. I didn't do that with respect to the Planning Board because it was basically a trivial amount of money, a couple of $100s.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hold.
Tell me what you want to ask.
I would, what Jack had, I mean, I believe, I don't disagree with you, as far as the recusing, but I would just want, like Jack said, just to, if there was a conflict of interest, to serve on both boards, or committees, I should say, Conservation Commission and the Finance Committee, in any shape or form, knowing what both do.
And the Conservation Commission does come to us to approve to expend certain funds. For
Right.
Certain funds.
Right, especially
To buy
from the
land.
warrant article.
We have to sign,
Yep.
we have to sign the.
Right,
So your question is there a conflict that Neil serves, or anybody serves,
correct.
on the Conservation Commission as well as the Finance Committee?
That's correct. Yep.
I'll ask that,
Okay.
and then,
Right,
Go from there.
so what are you doing tonight?
I'll table the vote for legal counsel. Legal recommendation.
You're just gonna move to table it, or are you gonna, what are you doing?
I can withdraw the second, or I can move to table it. But there's already a motion on the floor, so,
Well, whoever made the motion have to withdraw it, so that'd
Yeah.
be Sherry.
You want me to withdraw
Are
it?
you gonna
up to you.
withdraw it, or is there gonna be a motion to table it? It's not that
Well,
simple.
just table it.
or you just withdraw, well, that requires a second motion, so if you withdraw it, we can just make it another time.
Okay.
Okay,
So the first and the second are withdrawn?
yes,
Until you get legal opinion.
correct. Due to discussion. It's not a no. It's a, we'll get back to you.
Got it. Thank you.
So, all right, thanks, Neil.
And basically, while she's doing that, it should be asked for anybody
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
committee.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
wasn't gonna be
No.
specific.
No, and that would be.
On any, but I'm saying any other committees.
Right, finance to zoning, finance
Not just
to,
this-
or whatever.
Right.
Deal
Yeah.
with it, like if somebody's on finance and wants to go to whatever other committee,
Yeah, Parks and Rec or whatever, yeah.
is there a conflict?
Is there a conflict? Ex officio is way different, so, but. That's all.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Brings us to the manifest. Oh, boy, that's a lot of verbiage.
A lot of money,
Big manifest.
Yeah, it's a lot of
a lot
verbiage.
of money.
You forgot the point of the chairman's line here.
The what?
The chairman's line, where
what?
where I get money.
Oh. Well, you give yourself a raise?
Yeah.
Okay.
To all of us.
Move to order the treasurer to sign payroll accounts payables checks dated September 2nd, 2021, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest, $63,035.26 for weekly and fire monthly payroll. Accounts payable manifest, $79,001.45. John Stark for $650,000. Ware Schoolers for $750,000. For a total of $1,542,036.71. Well, there's more. I'm only here.
I know
I'm only
there's
here.
gonna be more, so.
Following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the August 16th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. As a payroll manifest of $68,102.86 for weekly and monthly payroll checks dated 8/26, and accounts payable of $73,615.47 for checks dated 8/26. There's no Selectmen's meeting scheduled for Monday, September 6th, and the September 13th. Further order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated September 9th and the 16th to be estimated to be about $150,000 combined. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $180,000 for accounts payables that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
You got any
Second.
breath left?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Must be parched after that.
A little bit, yeah, yeah. A little dry on it.
She has a question, but.
Have a question, as,
So it sort
as-
of comes under the question that you're gonna bring to council. There, last year, was another party in town, it wasn't a town
Mhm.
board, but it was a self-appointed
mm-hmm,
board, that reviewed all the warrant articles in the budget and made its own
Mhm.
recommendation. Is it a conflict to be on that and the finance committee would be
I think that's a,
the part?
that question goes along, I think,
With the one we're gonna ask.
Yeah,
yeah.
so just so that I understand, because I've been asked that,
So I think our moderator is asking to ask a similar question.
yeah, so is it a conflict
Be on the
to be on the
Finance.
finance committee and that
non
Ad hoc committee.
Yeah, yeah.
taxpayers?
Okay. Yep,
association
that's
or
fine.
whatever it was.
Yep,
Ad hoc committee, I
I just
guess.
wanna understand.
okay. Moderator's asking a question, there it is.
So you can tag it on the,
Okay, brings us to the meeting minutes of 8:16. Now, I did download these. I was a little quick on that one. There it is. Ta-da! Page 1. And 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6.
make a motion, we accept the minutes for the 16th of August as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Administrator's report.
Yeah, I'm catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So, while Eileen's still here, it's not on my report, but it dawned on me as I was fumbling through my papers. The calendar for, the NHMA calendar has been released for dates for the, 22 SB2 March. So you have two choices, and I've already made your choice, just to let you know.
You have?
There it is.
You've made it for us?
Yep.
That was nice of you.
There it is.
So town meeting, the first deliberative session, you got a choice of February 5th or February 12th, and I picked the 12th.
Awesome.
Okay.
There it is. see?
So 2022 deliberative session will be February 12th.
12. All right.
Hence the Saturday before Valentine's Day for any of you that celebrate it.
He's giggling.
Yeah.
That was a shot.
I guess I'm not going away for the weekend.
Go before.
Yeah.
Go like we are.
But just go away and not come to the deliberative.
Just go away.
I'll be going away.
So deliberative session,
February 12th.
February 12th. Yeah.
2/12/22.
2/12/22.
2/12/22. Could have been 2/22/22.
No,
No.
2/12/22.
2/5 or 2/12.
We're gonna shoot for the Ware Middle School,
Yep.
Try.
calf,
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 AM.
Now we could always go back to highway garage. you know.
No, we're not going back to highway garage.
Pause it.
Okay, so now I'll move on. There's also, last week or 2 weeks ago, Ricky got away with a timber harvest agreement.
Yeah, I did. Put it right in my
And-
binder and walked away with it.
He signed it, but you guys need to make a motion for the Ricky to authorize to sign the timber harvest.
Make a motion that we allow the chairman to sign the timber harvest stumpage agreement with Meadow Send Consulting Company.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
He already has, you don't have to go back.
Yeah.
It's not- come on, it'll get down there again.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
It's too late, you already signed it.
Okay. At the end of the evening, we probably should go under non-public for E.
Yep.
Okay. I've got two things to share with you there. Yeah. All right, let me get back to my, where I was here. I lost my mind for a minute. Not easy, not hard to do. There's really nothing other than, there isn't much that I haven't already covered. Joint loss, I'm not sure where we are with that. Radio communication, just wanted to, we're still working at, and the plan with the radio communication, is to at least get something on the, up front with CIP. We're still gathering numbers, we're still gathering maps. But I
Motorola still
still,
status quo.
he's still promising, but, I still think we
He's got
gotta,
tomorrow.
I still think we have
He's got
to.
tomorrow.
I still think we have to look at what the bigger picture, because I think, you know, once we get our numbers and start spending the ARPA money, there's going to be additional taxpayers' money, there's no doubt,
Oh, yeah.
to make the coverage and the mapping. I think, you know, the price of towers is about a couple $100,000 each.
Yeah, at least.
So there's still, we're trying to find out, like the fall down zone, I know it doesn't tip like this. They typically fall on top of each other. We're trying to get the engineer to decide that, because if it legitimately falls like this, east where is out. So we're still tracking behind the scenes to get all of the answers. There's a Green Mountain Engineering that does a lot of towers, so I just want someone to point the direction to the fall down zone that's required, because that's maybe a game changer.
Depends on the height of the tower.
Depends on the height of the tower, how it's constructed and things like that. So not, we leave it open, but I still think we should open the eyes with CIP. I just think it needs to be put out there that this is where we're going. You know, we're still gonna have to, whether we do some this year, some next year, I don't really know. But I still think it should be part of CIP.
No question, but I think the other thing is we shouldn't get too crazy spending the opera money and save a majority of it towards the communications, because anything other than that, if we have to bring it to the taxpayers, we may get shot down.
Well, a tower is part of the communications.
Right, so I'm saying,
'Cause it's not gonna work
above and
without
beyond
additional, yeah.
certain stuff that you have to go to is
Well-
kind of make it like 60-40, you know, 70-30, something like that, a percentage that is more out of the opera than it is gonna be out of the taxpayer.
Well, I think before we put the cart before the horse,
We gotta find out what the prices are.
well, not only that, but we gotta check to make sure that it is within the limitations of
Covered.
the ARPA money.
Right.
Communications, broadband and stuff, yes.
Well, I hope so.
Well,
but-
broadband
But it's
is.
Broadband.
It's
but
not
radios is not broadband.
Right,
Yeah,
that's where
but
we.
emergency communications, I thought, come under that.
But I just.
The way I read
and
it,
that's-
so-
But
Right,
we were
that's
gonna
what
take
we're
that list and
working
give
at,
it
yeah.
to
Yeah.
somebody
Nobody's
at
gonna tell you
the
what you
feds.
can and can't buy.
Did
Right.
Beth send that list
Until they-
out? 'Cause
until
I haven't
they-
seen it.
Yeah, they won't.
Until you
ta-
cut the check.
Or until they come and audit you, and then when
Right.
they audit you, you're gonna go, oh, by the way,
It's tisk tisk, yeah.
you gotta give that money back.
And typically, I mean, if we have any inkling, we can send it to somebody,
Yeah,
but,
it's what I would like to do.
but nobody's gonna say, yes, it's okay, or no, it sounds like it'll fit, is what you get for an answer. Just gonna tell you that.
Lovely.
So, I mean, we've been through this before. We
Okay.
did it with the GAP money, we did it with the Gopher money. And as long as you can show them where it falls, nobody's gonna tell you yes or no. Because every community is different, so there's not a black and white list. So, forestry contract, I told you this before, September 8th, Conservation's gonna just look at the thing, the contract, not the thing. And then, if they're okay with it, there probably won't need to be a joint meeting. It would just be something you guys would look at it and take it up at your meeting. Tennis courts, we're still waiting. It's my understanding, I think John Van had said it's into the fall now.
September.
Just because of the rainy July, got
Right,
pushed
they
everything back.
push them back, yeah.
Timber harvest you just did. I gave you my schedule for 7 and 8. Landscaping, we heard from last time. Okay, the barn on the east road, I had Century Roofing go over and look at it. And he asked if we still had the 4 panels, which I talked to Sherry, and we still do have the 4
Yeah, there's not
panels.
4, there's only 3.
He said there should have been 4.
I don't think so. I think there's 3, and the 3 are right in the thing. I may be wrong, I may have counted them,
proposals
but
to
I
put
put them
back-
all in.
The proposal that he gave me was to put back the 4 corrugated metal panels on the left side of the front structure. No other facets included in this proposal. All the work is to be done within the OSHA guidelines. Work areas to be kept clean at all times. Care is to be taken to protect all landscaping. They're gonna install an angle alert, high temperature water and ice protection on the infected area. Install the 4 ribbed panels on the left side. Contractor is to warranty labor issues, contractors to provide a certificate of insurance, all work is to be done in a neat and work-like manner, for the price of $590. I'm gonna just recommend that, I know the Historical Society is supposed to pay for it, but I
Yeah,
think the
we'll do
town
it.
should have the Historical Society pay the town, and we do it as a pass-through,
That's
because
what
it
I
is our
want.
building.
Yeah.
And he already has provided me insurance for the town of Ware.
I have no problem with it being a pass-through as long as zero tax impact to the
Right.
voters.
Yep.
Which is, it's a pass-through, so it would come in and come out for the exact same amount.
I have no problem with it being a
$590 to,
pass-through.
check.
$590 to the town of Ware, and then we would write $590 to Century Roofing,
I have no
if
problem
that
with that.
sounds,
I think that's,
Sounds-
I just think
that
it's a
sounds more than
fair,
reasonable.
where it's our building.
Yeah.
keeps the bookkeeping clean.
It sounds more than reasonable too, $500 to fix it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
So they're-
$590, so,
They're gonna have equipment and everything else there, probably the lift that's
Oh, yeah,
gonna be
they
up,
have a lift,
yeah, so
yeah.
it's more than reasonable.
so I'll just, tell them to schedule it when they're running into scheduling issues because of rain.
Okay.
Just give
Then
me
he
a
probably
heads
can
up
come,
one day and I'll
Surprise.
get down and
come to
pull.
Ware,
Do
because
all
he's still gonna
4.
do all of them at once, so. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
I think that's all I had, other than your, under E.
Under E, okay. Correspondence, other business?
Just one thing,
I got a couple.
if people haven't noticed it, the field was repaired this past Saturday by the gazebo,
Awesome.
so it's all done.
The ruts from the carnival?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we had a couple of folks reach out to us, one on Old Francistown Road, that Benji is working with. We also had, another gentleman reach out to us. That was one you forwarded. No, that was actually Old Francistown you forwarded. There was another one that reached
I
out to us.
just, because not everybody was included, I
Okay.
don't think, in the reply.
Okay. I thought we had
You
another
had
one
one
too.
on Hodgson Road.
Hodgson Road, that's
Yep.
correct, yep.
I saw that one too.
And both are being worked with. The one thing that was brought up today at public comment that I was gonna bring up was the signs. There is no way that the one in South Ware is even close to the regulation.
He's the other one up on 77.
That's correct. So how do we handle these?
So I think you have to, this is mine, I think you have to write a letter, or I can write a letter,
Yep,
that it's not compliant,
yes.
and do as DES does, give them 20 days to fix it or start charging $275.
Sounds like a plan.
The one in
77?
77 side, it doesn't change.
Oh,
It's internally lit.
But
I
it's
drove
not-
by there pretty slow, and unless
Not
it's
changed,
changes
yeah.
in a long time from
no,
then.
it depends, they could change it
The-
manually, but it
No,
doesn't
no,
change on
it
its own.
doesn't have,
Scrolling
it doesn't
or-
have scrolling or these bright yellow lights and the flag and
flag,
everything else
yeah. I like
flying
that
at your
one, though.
face. And that's what I meant by changing.
Yeah.
It doesn't change, it just stays lit, green letters.
Mm-hmm.
Black with green letters, it just stays lit. Could the message change? I think that's what you're after.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change on the fly like
No,
the
it
grandfather
It
one
may stay up
does.
there for 4 or 5
And it doesn't,
hours before it changes.
it doesn't.
And it's not honestly bright at night, because we've been through there late, and
It
it's
doesn't
not as
change,
bright.
doesn't change on the fly like the one at
Is that the
Country
Down
car-
south.
Three.
Is that the car
Country 3
place?
changes on the fly.
Country 3 changes, but as
They're
Tom had
approved.
mentioned
As Tom has
earlier, they were,
mentioned, their
that's been.
grandfather, their
Grandfather.
grandfather, because they were there before the sign ordinance.
That's right.
Just, but they were there.
So, I mean,
That's right.
all you can do, as I
Yep,
said,
and that's fine.
if we can just
Send
start
'em a
sending
letter.
like a form letter,
Then we do that.
DES gives them 20 days, or they're gonna start a fine.
That's exactly what we do then.
Yeah.
You know, they can come back, they can come to zoning, they can try to make it right. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, we get several form letters from DES, and they're all written the same way. It's fill in the blank, that they've received a complaint regarding, and it gives you the article.
I think that's what we need to do,
Okay.
because it's definitely not even close.
No.
So, if the board's okay with that, I think we move forward with that.
Yep, I think that's, well, we don't, we don't have somebody to handle it over there in the office anymore, yep. I think it's,
Well,
it
no, a
falls on
form
us.
letter's a form letter, you just fill in the blanks, because
Yep.
they all make their way upstairs. Which is, I think the illusion here is that you guys are the sign guys.
Yeah.
So it starts.
Well, we are now, because we don't have a building.
No, I think.
Building inspector, code
I
enforcement.
didn't read it the same way, but I think it was said earlier
Yep.
that the zoning or the sign ordinance falls back on this board.
That's right.
So those violations, yes, but the complaints that come in, it's honestly, we received a complaint and let them fix what's right or wrong.
Right. Yep.
That's the only way you're gonna
Need
stay
to
on top of
sustain the
it.
I would agree.
complaint.
Yeah.
And anything that's got a lawyer, I've given to Laura, or lawyer.
The lawyer.
Lawyer to lawyer.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
lawyer.
And then it's a little more complicated, because then you each have counsel.
Right.
And then let them hash it out.
Adds an element of complicate to it. So, all right. Is that it?
So,
Okay.
I gotta get downstairs.
Okay. Been anything else? No? Okay, moving on to non-public under RSA 91A3 Roman numeral 2E.
Second,
Moved and seconded, all in favor, roll call?
yes.
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 And we'll be adjourning afterwards. Thank you.